subject. So our next subject is this. Let's talk about the season overall and the last episode. Now, I like this season. I'm not saying I'm in love with it, but I am enjoying it. I personally don't miss Jin Shaw. What do you guys think? Put it down below. Do you miss Jin Shaw? Do you think she should come back? Because I think she's going to get out of prison way sooner than her sentence. I think she's going to be out of prison probably fairly soon. So do you want her to come back? Should she be allowed to come back? Do you miss her? Put it down below. But I will say that it does seem almost like a caricature of a Housewives show. But Housewives in general kind of feels that way. It seems like think about the Roni reboot. It seems like each housewife knows what character or persona they want to play, and they show up not as themselves, but they show up as that character. It seems very forced and like pre-described. There's really no unique people anymore. It's like, oh, you're the pot stirrer. Oh, you're the victim. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're the single girl. Oh, you're the blah, blah, blah. It's like there's no freshness. I think that's what's missing, like a new fresh take to it. When it comes to Heather Gay, to me, Heather Gay is pretty much the same. She's just doing Heather, just kind of being a bitter Betty, just same old. So, but I will say this, when it comes to Heather Gay and the Lisa Barlow situation about Lisa's son's mission, I think Heather made it about herself and she thought, oh, she doesn't want to talk to me because I wrote this book of like Bad Mormon. I don't think anybody really cares about your book, Heather. That's just my opinion. I think Lisa didn't want her son to go on a mission. I think that Lisa really isn't, quote, a Mormon. I think that, sure, that's what she says, but I don't think she really participates in the religion. You know what I mean? And I think that she thought her son would follow more in her footsteps, go to college and build businesses. But I don't think that she realized how indoctrinated he was into this religion. Like all of his friends are going on missions. It's like this whole thing. They were treating, where you're going on your mission the same way we would treat where did you get accepted into college? They said it was like a gender reveal. To me, it was more like a graduation high school / where are you going to college party, right? I don't think she realized how deep he was into it. And I think Lisa Barlow was really scared for her son. And I think that she was trying to keep it together because she's like, I need to be positive. I need to be there for my son. And I think that talking to Heather, who she knows would be honest, which might be very negative. I don't think that Heather is negative. I think that Heather would say negative things, right, about it. And that would just scare her more. And that's where I really think is going on. But Heather, like a lot of times, only thinks about Heather. Heather to me has a little bit of narcissism going on. She fakes like she's a people pleaser, but at the heart, she thinks she's the center of everything. And I think that's why she has such an issue with Lisa, where she couldn't actually empathize with Lisa and say, hey, maybe Lisa's actually like really scared that her son is leaving for 2 years. She won't be able to physically see him. He's only allowed to call her once a week. And I think Lisa Barlow is whatever, even though Lisa Barlow pretends like she doesn't know, I think Lisa Barlow is very aware of the issues that has happened within the Mormon church. Very aware of how it is. That's why she doesn't really practice it. I think she says she practices it. I think she could, quote, converted for her husband because he was. But I don't think she's really goes down like that. You know what I'm saying? I think she's scared. And I get it. I would be scared too if someone in my family, particularly a child, is going away for 2 years and I can't see them. That's really scary, And I think that she was just trying to hold on to any type of positivity that she could. Okay. Now, Whitney and Jason, are they headed for divorce? I think maybe so. I think their problems are financial. And I think once they started having finance problems, then the sex started to go away. And then once a marriage has sex and money problems, those are usually the two biggest reasons for divorce. I think they did something shady with her whole skincare line, Wild Rose. What happened to that? Is it still going on? Is it real? Where can we buy it? Does she have a TikTok shop? Like, what is going on with that? I thought she spent hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of their family savings to do this big rebrand. What happened? Where's the product? You know? And Jason was a little bit too cool about that for him not to be in on them saying they used that money as a rebrand. But the truth was they used it for something else because they are not rich enough where her basically squandering hundreds of thousands of dollars would not be catastrophic. I believe Jen Shah. Because remember, it was season 2, I want to say, either season 2 or season 3 finale, when Whitney was talking about Jen Shah's legal problems and the scheme she was doing. And Jen Shah clapped back and she was like, oh, yeah, well, what about all the money you allegedly spent on Wild Rose? We don't want to talk about that. And Whitney shut all the way up. So I don't know what scheme. I don't know if it's a money laundering scheme. I don't know what scheme they're doing, but in my opinion, and we already know that both Whitney and Jason work in those like MLL schemes and those pyramid schemes. That's why Jason's old company was being sued in that class action because they were doing pyramid schemes and MLM schemes. His new company is a very similar scheme. That's why Whitney knew the exact scheme that Jen was doing on the bus because her company does the same exact thing that she was working at when she met Jason. And that's why I think the company let him go, not because they were doing weird sexual paint body stuff, but because their company's shady dealings was being put on blast in a public way. Because if this company didn't fire you, this Mormon company in Utah didn't fire you for having an affair when both of them were married and then getting divorced and then marrying each other, if that didn't break your Mormon code, why would two married people doing paint each other on a freaking yoga mat, why would that mean you're going to get fired? Especially because season 1, they were doing booby parties. They were having the swinger parties. They were doing getting wasted in the drunk van and all of that stuff. So if everything they did on season 1 was okay, why would them doing a paint-a-thon be like, that's the straw? No. What it was is that it came out that his company was being sued in the class action and it became public. And they talked about it at the reunion. And then once it became public, then Jason became a liability. That's why he got fired. And then his whole like, oh, I'm on a non-compete for a year. Yeah, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay. So I think that, and then also, I don't know what's going on with Whitney, but last season, her whole, childhood trauma arc. And I'm going to be very sensitive about this because it's a very sensitive subject, which is why I felt sort of, and it's hard to not criticize or judge, but I guess question is more of what it is. Because I don't really believe in questioning people when they say that they've gone through things, particularly childhood trauma and the way she said she did. I believe people like 100%. But the reason why I question Whitney is because she didn't do any follow through. She hinted at it. She threw out a lot of trigger words, but she never actually said what happened. She never gave a full story, so I felt like what she was doing was a little dangerous to sort of hint at something so big, but not actually follow through on it. And then she would turn around and weaponize it and yell at people and go off on people. You're not being sensitive to me. I'm going through all this stuff. But it's like, but what are you going through? What are you talking about? What? So it's not that I'm criticizing someone for coming forward about their trauma, because that's a really hard thing to do. But I am questioning her story because she didn't really give us enough to truly understand what the hell she was talking about. you know? And I think that also weighed on Justin. I think I was calling him Jason. Justin, I think his name is. Sorry if I called him Jason. Justin. Weighed on Justin because he looked just as confused as we were watching it when she was talking about it. We all were like, what are you talking about, Whitney? Like, what? So I think once you start having problems financially in your family household, which they seem to have been having, that type of stress and that type of scrutiny can lead to, well, now we're having problems in bed, which is what she opened up about. They weren't having sex. He opened up about them not having sex. And then she's saying, you're not wearing your wedding ring. They just seem to be on very separate sides of the road. So I don't want them to get divorced. I hope they're not heading for divorce. And I also hope they're not doing this for a storyline and they're playing with their marriage. Because we've also seen housewives do this, where they play with their marriage for a storyline. I don't know if that's happening. To me, he genuinely seems annoyed with her, and she seems genuinely dismissed. So I don't know, but I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. All right, the return of Mary Cosby. Whew, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I am not a Mary stan. I think she's really mean. I think she's a very evil, bitter, mean-spirited person. If you really listen to what she says, it's mean. And it's coming from a dark place. And I do think her church is a cult. Anytime you have an establishment, religion, whatever you want to call it, where they want you to worship the person rather than God, that is a cult. And it was very clear in all the other seasons and what we've seen that has since come out, Mary wants people to worship her. And to me, that is a cult. And all the other stuff that came out, and I stand by this, the reason why Mary did not come to the reunion was not because Mary didn't want the smoke from the other ladies, because as evil as Mary is, she can outshade them all day long. She reads them down for filth over and over and over again. She didn't come to the reunion because she didn't want the smoke about the money and her church and her, marrying her step-grandfather, people dying at her church, people leaving them their life savings, the cult allegations, things being leaked about her saying she doesn't like being around poor people and they need to give her money, and about all the other businesses that she allegedly stole from her family, all of that stuff. Mary didn't want that smoke coming out. That's why she didn't come to the reunion. And she wanted to wait until she was able to do whatever she had to do with the lawsuits against her before coming back to the show. And again, I think that's why she's a friend of, is because she wanted to be able to show up and not show up as she wanted to, depending on what was going to be happening with her legal stuff. Because Mary is a lot of things, but she's not stupid. She's not stupid. I think she clearly saw what was happening to Jen Shah, and she was like, yo, I don't want to go to Sing Sing or the Clink Clink over this reality show. That's why I think Mary left the show, and that's why I think she skipped the reunion, because that was during the time all the allegations about her and her church and her businesses and her money came out. I think Mary is really mean and really nasty. I know some people like her shade, some people like her reads. I don't find her entertaining. I don't find her funny. I think she's evil. I think she works with some dark entities. I'm not here for Mary. I'm not. It's weird. It's bizarre. Ugh. With that being said, I do have to be transparent. She does, and I will admit this, she does have some good reads. She does. She had some good reads. She has some good shade, but her energy is so dark to me that I feel bad laughing at it, But I want to know what you guys think about Mary. That might be an unpopular opinion. I know a lot of people like her, but I don't know. There's just something really dark going on with Mary in my personal opinion, okay? All right, now I'm going to get into my theory about Heather and the phone call and all of that stuff, but let's watch a little snippet of the preview of what's coming, and then I'll get into my theory about what's going on with Heather and everybody else. Oof, 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 oof. So this is my theory. I think that they're trying to tease it that Meredith betrayed someone or Meredith brought some rumor out. But I think what really happened is I think Jen told Heather something really crazy, bombshelly, something to expose something about Monica, because I think Jen is on her get back. You know, she's super pissed that Monica is now basically took her snowflake, right? She's the one who replaced Jen. You know, I think not Angie really, right? I think she's pissed that she took her snowflake and replaced her. I think she's pissed that Monica admitted that she went to her quote friend who was a Fed and ratted Jen out, even though she said, yeah, they already had an ongoing, investigation into Jen Shaw, but she went and she was a witness and ratted her out to the Feds. And then she turns around and now she's on, what in Jen's mind, Jen's show, right? So I think that Jen is probably on some get all the way back. And this is what I think is going to happen. And this is just my one conspiracy theory. Put yours down below. I think Jen is going to tell Heather something very salacious and bombshelly about Monica. I think that Heather is then going to tell Meredith about what Jen said about Monica. And this is where I think it's going to come down on Meredith. I think Meredith then goes and tells Monica what Heather told her. Did you follow that? That is my theory. That's what I think is going to go down. That's what I think is going to happen. But I want to know what you guys think. And then, do you miss Jen? Do you think she should come back? And what do you guys think about this season? Are you here for it? Are you, liking it? What are your thoughts on Mary coming back? Or in Monica, the newbies, Monica and Angie? What do you think about the OGs? Heather and Whitney and Lisa and Meredith? Put it down below. And what do you think this, teasing bombshell that's going to come out? What do you think that is? Who do you think the key players are in the situation? Okay, put it down below. But before you do that, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. And with that, you guys, I'm going to drop the link in case anybody wants to come up and chat. And I'm going to take some of your candy cane questions and comments. All right. Da-da-da. Okay. Hi, Tay-Tay. Tay-Tay says, hey, Candy. Hey, sweetheart. Tay-Tay says, seasons 4 have been a banger. I agree. I like season 4. I'm watching it. I'm into it.